Karoline Leavitt was asked about the Department of Justice's recent statement that there is no such thing as the Epstein client list. Now, that statement comes after months of Donald Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi going on to Fox News and talking about how she has the list sitting on her desk and they're preparing to release the files. Donald Trump also said numerous times that the Epstein files were going to be released, but now, all of a sudden, out of the blue, there's no list. And Karoline Leavitt is forced to go up in front of the press and lie about the Epstein files.
Karoline, the DOJ and FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration. And the Trump administration is committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the President's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child pornography, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption. But they committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
Follow up on that,
Sure.
Karoline. Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. They have an operation going on right now called Summer Heat, which has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history. Their emphasis on violent crime and locking up violent criminals has led to the arrest of 14,000 violent criminals. That's a 62% increase from the same time period last year. So this Attorney General and the FBI Director are committed to putting bad people behind bars where they belong. They promised an exhaustive review. That's what they did. For any further details, I would refer you to the Department of Justice.
Anytime you have Karoline Leavitt talk about how this administration is committed to truth and transparency, you know the next things that come out of her mouth are going to be bogus. She tried to kind of pin Peter Doocy there and say, well, if you go back and look at the quote, and Doocy, you know, to his credit, I don't give him credit very often because he doesn't deserve really any credit, but he says, well, I have the quote. I have the quote right here. She's referring to the client list. And we'll watch the clip of Pam Bondi, of course, referring to the client list. But Karoline Leavitt there trying to frame the question, and Peter Doocy not really letting her do that. And then, of course, Leavitt tries to deflect, talking about the administration being responsible for arresting violent criminals, which is just as hypocritical as you can get, since Donald Trump's first act as president of the United States really was to pardon the January 6th rioters, the men and women who tried to storm the Capitol to kill Mike Pence and members of Congress. And the only question really is, I mean, if Karoline Leavitt is lying about this, about Pam Bondi saying that there was a client list, then is the Department of Justice lying about there not being one? Of course they are. Now, why would they be doing that? Because Donald Trump is on the list. Now, let's get to Attorney General Pam Bondi saying that she has the list on her desk when asked about it on Fox News.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen? It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you.
Now, after watching that, do you really believe Karoline Leavitt that she was just talking about all the files when she said it is on my desk when asked about the Epstein client list? It is on my desk, she says. But according to Karoline Leavitt, she was talking about all the files. Now, Donald Trump, I mentioned, also had moments where he was asked about the Epstein files and said, of course, he was going to release it, but then immediately sounded very hesitant and reluctant to release those files.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would
I
you,
did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah. Here I come. Here I come.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others.
There's a moment where you had some hesitation about Epstein, releasing some of the documents on Epstein. Why the hesitation?
I don't think I mean, I'm not involved. I never went to his island, fortunately. But a lot of people did.
Why do you think so many smart, powerful people allowed him to get so close?
He was a good salesman. He was, was a hale and hearty type of guy. He had some nice assets that he'd throw around, like islands. But a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. They do that for danger, too, because, endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
I don't know what was going on with Donald Trump in that one clip with him and the podcaster. He seemed kind of out of it, kind of sluggish. Who knows what's going on with Donald Trump there? But why is Donald Trump talking about how he's going to release the files and then immediately says, oh, well, I mean, there's phony stuff in there that, I don't know, it would kind of ruin people's lives. And then talks about how he never went to the island. Never went to the island, spent a lot of time with Epstein, but never went to the island. Trump appeared on the Epstein flight logs, has appeared in the files that we've seen released so far, but says he never went to the island. Really interesting how he specifically says that, as though that's supposed to clear his name of all of his connections to Jeffrey Epstein. So it seems reasonable to me to believe that someone or something, some government, has the client list and was threatening to release it. We know that Donald Trump is battling with countries around the world with his tariff policies. We know that Donald Trump has been battling with Elon Musk recently. Musk, of course, made headlines when he said that Trump was in the files. Now, Elon Musk is talking about starting a new political party. So it seems as though they've had a massive fallout, and both these people, Trump and Elon Musk, fight dirty. And so it would not surprise me if Elon Musk has access to those files, has the client list, and is now threatening Donald Trump with releasing it. So, because these moments don't happen just kind of out of nowhere. Donald Trump is trying to get ahead of something. We've seen it time and time again. When he sent out Attorney General Bill Barr to get ahead of the Mueller report on the Russian interference and collusion with the Trump administration or the Trump campaign, he had Bill Barr come out and say, "Yeah, they found nothing. They found nothing." When, of course, that wasn't the case. And so it seems to me like they're doing the same thing here, and they're trying to get ahead of potentially a release of the client list, which is going to show Donald Trump on numerous occasions hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein and potentially much, much worse. But let me know what your reflections are on this Epstein files, the Epstein client list. Is it so? Is it not? Share your reflections down in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to Reflect Politics if you're new to the channel. Thanks for watching. My name is Brendan Plank. See you in the next video.